Hey everybody, this is Grace, and I'm sitting out in my SUV. I was just sitting here looking at video, watched a little bit of a video, and decided to get to making this video. I'm making some changes for YouTube, what I do on YouTube. One of them, I'm going to stop watching the people that really I'm not going to. I really have stopped watching most of them altogether. It takes time, it's over time, but the ones who really I am disgusted with their actions, to put it truthfully. And I try to count up how many people it is. They're doing the thing of swindling, okay? And most of them go to food banks, say they need an emergency funds for their family. They grift off of the eBay off of saying they don't have money for their family to eat. That in my head, yeah, I'm not born yet. I'm not born yesterday. I'm not new to this planet. I know what they're trying to do, and they're trying to twist it all around. But if you have money in your emergency funds and you can't use that on groceries for your kids, something. But then seeing after however long they take these vacations, and I am not new to this planet, like I'm saying, and you can easily Google to see how much the average would cost, and we're talking as much as, if not more. What the answer is like 20,000. 20, not 2, 20,000, as much as, if not more even. Is that what that emergency fund was for? Your family has an emergency, they have to go on vacation and go to all these places, and you should have to show them off, and then when you come back to give everybody a lecture. I don't know. It come recommended to me recently, and I'm like, oh my goodness, no. These kinds of things, people who, they brag about how much money they earn, yet they, another grift slash e-bag, saying that they don't have enough money to eat and to buy groceries. They show themselves buying groceries, and they buy bottles of stuff, and sometimes even use more than one bottle of sticking stuff in their food that costs like 15 to 30 bucks. It's not like they use just a little tad of it. Nope, they use the whole bottle. I'm not new to this planet. And then they show themselves going out to eat $80-something just for themselves, or they might have somebody with them, that doesn't eat much, but they gotta brag. They gotta show, oh, look how much. One of the first ones I saw that did the thing of bragging, and it was a man who was bragging over the money that his wife or girlfriend at the time, maybe his wife, was making, and the friends that went out with them, they said that they would pay for their friends' meals, as a couple, another couple, and they ordered expensive stuff. I was like, but see, you shouldn't be happy about stuff like that. The goal really, I can't tell anybody, it's you, I'm talking to myself, but the goal really is that me, I hope, that people, stop being so dark and see the light, and change. Stop being, so, and that they lack morals. They're so self-involved, so, people pile everything under narcissism. That too many people have done that. And, oh, they're a narcissist, always. Just, to me, and I don't like the way it makes me feel. I don't like that I want to put a label on them as such as saying things about them that are filled with, I don't really hate anybody, but filled with disgust, and I'm rightfully so disgusted. I don't have a problem saying I'm disgusted by these people who are going to food banks so their families can go on vacations. And it wasn't just one. It was not just one family. And with one of them, their children are grown adults who have jobs, but still live with mama and daddy, who work both. They go to food banks and get all the good stuff. I'm talking good stuff. See, all that stuff, it just, I don't like the way it makes me feel. And so I'm changing things, not only because, in fact, it wasn't even because of that. Whenever I got this idea that I wanted to change what I'm doing with my channels and stuff like that, wasn't even. It was something totally not even involving any of actually them. It was just some of the stuff that, I don't know. I really don't want to just explain myself really on anything anymore ever again. But it was funny because I'm going through some of my channels and I'm seeing some videos, and it's kind of like, who was that woman that made those videos? I've been making videos starting on my original channel for 11 years, 11 and a half. Let's see, August. Yeah, August will be 12 years. Wow. And some of the videos from actually just a few years ago, it's like, who was I then? I've been through a lot, especially these past few years, and I've seen some pretty harsh stuff these past few years. I don't get on and tell everything, but with my health, it was I did talk a lot about these healthcare providers. Oh my goodness, did I meet just the worst? And then I saw a video. It was from a news, people reporting there is a wasp on my SUV. I keep hoping it doesn't find a way to get in. But I just looked over there and I'm saying, oh, it's so close. But anyway, just this video, some news station was talking about this woman went to a doctor and it was videoed. She videoed it, and the doctor was doing a procedure that did not need to be done, but just did it for money. Welcome to my world. I got so sick of this, and somebody from that own insurance company let me know, that wasn't from this area, let me know last year this was happening. Something she basically, I was sick, I was real ill, and that's in September when I was barely able to get up, eat, and go back to bed, and all I could eat was ramen noodles, which I don't eat, and cake, which I don't eat. But the feeling I had was anything else would hurt me. I'm serious. It was a bad month. And it started like at the end of August and ended like in the beginning of October. It was bad. And I would come out here and try to focus. I didn't really have too much trouble, but I'd make a video every day just as much as I could. There were days I could not. Days went by. Okay. And but anyway, during that time is when that woman, and I don't even know how it happened. I know I was talking to one woman over the phone, probably one of those that kept calling me and associated with the insurance company, but they'd call me and it was some kind of program, which I did not need that kind of program. I never really found out what exactly that program did. But they called me and then she said, I need you to speak to this person. I got this person on, I said, okay. I got this person on the line and she told me, some things about the doctors were doing wrong. And like I said, I was very ill. And so I didn't even do the thing of writing down the name, department, nothing like that. And that's my usual, And it was so weird. It was so wicked. And then they tried to tell me to tell my doctors I was livid. I do not work for you. This is making it really short, but it took time with everything. And one of the doctors said that he was going to try to find a way to turn around on me. Some of the most despicable. Last year was filled with despicable people. This year wasn't starting out right. Seeing more and more. Oh my gosh. Really. See, I don't want to even have any reason to use despicable. That word. Disgusted. Don't want to have any reason. So I really am. I like watching to see how Punch is doing. The monkey, Punch the monkey. I just before I started, that was recommended to me. I was thinking, why do I not? Because I like to watch animal, kittens and puppies and stuff like this, the videos, and usually the short. I watch both long and short. And I was thinking, why do I not like monkeys and orangutan, stuff like that? Why? I can't even pronounce it right? But why? And then Punch, the monkey. Oh, it just, I got drawn in, and I'm glad. Seriously. Something, and I was already watching all the people that they make houses, not all of them, but some of them, that they make houses for stray cats, where they live. They have a large stray cat population, and they make little houses for them so that cats have a place to go for winter. Like it was really bad winter. They all these places, and they make some of them make little communities for them. People who have a heart. That's what I like watching. People who have goodness. We always, how many times have you heard people say, there's never anything on the news that is anything good. All you see is bad. And I remember there was a news channel that used to try to add something good. And I even know that years ago when I would have it, my channels weren't bad like they are now. They're dead channels. Not I found out it's not shadow banned, because there's a way to test it, and mine they're there, but they're dead channeled for whatever reason. I don't know. But not years ago, I had pretty good for whatever it was at that time. They weren't really bad, and I had a good amount of people liking them and stuff like that. Then all of a sudden, about 4 years or so ago, just kind of it was it. 4 or 5 years, whenever people kept, people preferred to watch those hashtag shorts, and a lot of my views would go down, went down from people actually watching them to, 1 second here, 1 second there. I had one the other day, a couple months ago, I guess it was, had been watched only 6 times, only 6 views, and the average was 1 second, not 1 minute, 1 second. And I screenshot it, sent it to YouTube, and said, can this really even happen? 1 second? So anyway, I just went with the flow there. But where was I heading off to with this? I don't know. I just should say that I've made some changes. I want to watch, I was talking about Punch, the monkey, and yeah, stuff like that. That's what I've been watching. I was watching, like I said, all the kittens and stuff, cats, and I just sit there and I laugh and at them, and it makes me feel good. And it's something that I told Adam the other day, and it was just yesterday maybe. It was so funny because we both laughed because, it's funny. I said that, I will often say that I use my channels for venting, but the problem was it had become what I was venting about was what I was watching on YouTube. These people, you see, it was creating a vicious cycle for me. I'm just floored by them. You know, the nerve, and I don't blame victims. I don't do the victim blaming stuff, blaming the victims. But some people, they will say the words, people in the comments, like that they're just about to get it, just about to catch on what's going on here. And maybe they actually do, because I don't check. I was never one to read other people's comments, on somebody else's videos. And until I started seeing these more and more, and so I still don't go and check to see, was this person still there? Is this an old person? That stuff. I knew a reaction channel. She used to do that. She would check to see, are these the same people? Or she mentioned it. I don't do that. I like to go back and watch my little kittens and all the kittens and the, any kind of animal when it's cute or it's a good, or brings tears to my eyes. Somebody actually helping. And I know a lot of them. I know personally that a lot of them are these days more and more it's AI generated. And no thank you, but still there are some of them, you can tell kind of like the music they play. So that's how I do. And I also, you can see like some of the stuff doesn't shift right. And, or you see a blur, some kind of blur with it. And so many things. Like the ones when, some of them, and it's not even always just the ones that are AI generated. It's the ones that are lies, as it is. It's acts. And they're putting off as though it's something real, reality, when it's actually staged. I never like those. Those go back, and they'll put it off as that it is real, like I said, and no, I'm like, as it is, no one would do that because they could be sued. Like the ones that were crazy neighbors. You're going to put your crazy neighbor for real on video, and you think that crazy neighbor might not sue you for that? Yeah. I mean, what are the odds? I recently saw on video, and it was not recently, it was sometime last year, but she's a woman now, she's my age, and I've known her. I'm not friends with her or anything, but I've known her since I was a kid in school. We were in the same grade together, and same class, going way back, and starting off there. And I saw her on a video, and she didn't know she was being videoed. And it was like, wow. And where we live is like is cross Texas, 7-8 hour drive away, and no, I don't talk to her. I don't, have anything to do with her, but there she was. Pretty much, never, you got these, Facebook page, that have people you went to school with. That's basically kind of thing, something like that. And it's not very much contact, so really never. Might as well put it that way. Somebody can like your video, or not video, but like your something funny you put up or whatever. More like that. There, F even. My goodness, just explain the one thing. But seeing somebody like that, your neighbor could run across something like that. Or somebody that knows them. Somebody knows the area. It's not like, there are multiple planets that people are videoing from. Really. And some people, what they do, I just saw another one when they're I have this series. One of them is that people who do delivery in my it's fiction. And in that part, they were doing things that these people who were doing food delivery things, that were doing stuff that was really causing problems for new businesses that had just opened up so they could make their own money. And they were lying and all this stuff. But what they got them on, the police picked them all up on, was traffic violations. They were videoing themselves making, there were traffic violations. They were videoing themselves doing things they shouldn't be doing, like parking in a handicapped spot when they're not handicapped, and making comments about it. They gave their own evidence, right there on video of what they were doing wrong. Parking where there is no parking, and there just not a parking spot, or where the sign says tollway zone. And they would make comments like, I can do what I want to do, kind of attitude. And I saw an actual one today. I've seen them before, but yeah. I've seen people do that. Then they act this like, I don't want to say bravado, but they, they're bragging that they can do whatever they want. And they're giving their own evidence that they were doing wrong. People, and I'm not talking just the fictional ones. So, of course. But mine is a different storyline, though, about all that. Like I said, it's a fictional storyline. So, and it's very different from what I've seen. But anyway, I don't know, it's something in me, and I'm also taking this medication. What is today? Day 6 or something, 5 or 6, that I've been taking this medication for my rare health condition that I've had since I was a child. All these years later, I'm finally put on some medication directly for it, other than the Band-Aid medications, as I always called them. They just put little Band-Aids on it. But now that on this, and it says that, I read what the NIH says on these things. I Google them to see whatever the NIH says, and it basically said it's going to get worse before it gets better. It's because of the way the body is adjusting and so on and so forth. It's a physical health condition, but it can still, it's physical, but it can still cause things like it says depression, anxiety, moody behavior, or irritability, stuff like that. And I've never suffered from depression. I've had anxiety before, but not depression. And I've been irritable, but before, who hasn't? So, but I'm a cheerful person as it is. I know it probably doesn't sound like with the videos I would make, but I always have been able to just, okay. I knew he was coming out here. I come outside to get away from the inside of the house so I can have some privacy, and Adam's going to come out at some point, every time. Here he is. He's still, I'm telling you, he'll interrupt me, and he's still out there. I think he gets bored in there by himself. He's not really by himself, the dogs are there. So, those are his babies. Yeah. But anyway, he was, like one of our dogs, there was something on the, my side view mirror here, and I thought he did it like it was, like he put his thumb there. It looks like a thumbprint. I said, you put a thumbprint on my, because he was standing right there on my side view mirror, and so I gave him a tissue. He said, give me a tissue. I gave him a tissue. I keep tissues in my SUV. And he said it wasn't something, I don't know, something kind of, we don't know how it got on there. But anyway, when he goes to grab the tissue paper, I tell him that he does exactly like one of our dogs, the laser focused dog, and he's noticed the dog does it too. You hand the dog something like a treat, like a, one of those little sticks, I just call them little sticks, and hand it to him and expect the dog to grab the one end that I'm handing to him. I have to do it long ways, hand it to the dog. But no, the dog is going to want to take it from my fingertips. He's going to put his mouth on my fingertips. That dog. The other one doesn't. She takes it from the right side, which is actually the left side for me. And she takes it and she runs off with it. She's so happy. This one, he's got to grab my fingers. And I tell Adam, he's the same way. Seriously. He says, hand me that. So I hand it to him, and he doesn't grab the object. He grabs my fingers. He says, you're right. We both saw him do it. It caught on. Both of us at the same time. The first time, I'm like, you are just like, that dog. He said, I see that. But that's what he did with this tissue paper. I said, really? Because I was thinking it was something on his hands. It looks like, he said it's sticky, whatever it is. It wasn't coming off, and it wasn't. It's been there, so I have no idea how something got on there. But I said, then don't give me the tissue paper back. I know that's all sounding kind of weird, but it was funny because I kept thinking about, how he is like the dog. He cannot take the actual tissue. He's going to try to take it from my fingers. I don't know. I just don't know. Oh, but yeah. I think I want to keep on having this good attitude, laugh about stuff, and make stupid videos. About things I find funny, and some of it is stupid, but it's okay. And not to be dragged down by these, I don't like what I want to say. I want to call them names like devil spawn, which, that's dehumanizing. And I don't say that stuff. I'm not that type of person. And really, I don't want to have that kind of thing affect how I am in the world. Seeing that kind of stuff. It's like a whoosh, down, and, it doesn't make me feel happy. And I know I'm not going to, I'm a social behavioral scientist. I know I'm not going to just turn a blind eye to all of it. It just is not going to happen. Okay, I didn't spend all those many years, over 20, and then just for it to go to waste now that I'm at an age when, I was moving stuff here, an age where, wisdom is here. Wisdom has arrived. Wisdom takes time. It takes a while. Some people, I remember there was this young woman years ago, and I'm talking, my goodness, probably 30 years ago, back in the early 1990s, maybe it was 1990, 1991, somewhere around there, and she was a teenager. It was online, this BBS back then, and there was a whole bunch of people on, everybody chatting. BBS is for different, new and different, and she was telling me, and I was like twice her age. I think she was, she had been, what's that word for it? What is it whenever they leave their parents legally, and she was her own person and had her own rights as if she was an adult, and she wasn't an adult. Just oh my goodness, that man. But anyway, she was acting like she was so, I think she was 17 at the time, but like I said, she had gone through the legal process, and she said because of all that she had been through, that she knew more about life than me. Okay, than I. And I think everybody, we all knew one another. I think everybody just was stunned that she would say such a thing. This was online, okay? This was in text and chatting, and everybody can see everything that, unless you made sure nobody saw it. And we all knew one another also in person. I didn't know her, but for the most part, we all knew one another. And it was all, from many miles away. But anyway, my head just popped. Did you hear that? It went brrr with my neck. Anyway, she said such a thing, and that's when I started thinking more about wisdom and how it works. I was like twice her age, like I said, and I was in my 30s, and I was thinking, she has no clue who I am, which, like I say, she thought she knew so much, and she didn't. But, I thought about how wisdom takes time. You can have all the experiences, lots and lots of experiences, but until you've had time to process that, you'll gain some knowledge and process it, and do find the right solution. Not just what you're going to take care of it by making it worse, not something, but you gain the wisdom, and there's a whole process. And it's not just, okay, you experienced that bad thing, and now you know everything about it. And it takes, like people who used to listen to their elders. And believe me, I'm well aware that some elders you don't want to listen to. Because they teach bad things, like the ones who are out there grifting. And the people put up, videos saying why it's okay to go to food banks. No, it's not. They call them food banks. It's food pantries. But no, it's not okay to go and take that food when they're hungry, starving people. Really think about that. Think that there are these people, my age and older, and probably maybe even younger. You say, I'm not elderly, but say elderly people who donate, and some of them, they donate to the church, they donate to the churches who donate to these food banks, and that's quite often how it works. Some of them are some form of government, and whatever level, and just think of these people who are doing what they think is the right thing for them to do as elderly people, and they're donating to these, thinking they're helping out with people who are children who are starving. They're helping out with families that are poor, and their children, and everybody's very hungry. They're helping out people who they're truly needy, who are down on their luck. The elderly that are on fixed incomes, even the elderly on fixed incomes, donate some. Not everybody, of course, not everybody, but people donate thinking they're doing what's good and decent, and they volunteer their time. If they can afford it, they volunteer their time. I've done volunteer work, not at any food bank, but I've done a lot of volunteer work, like at work senior living communities. And people are doing it because they're doing it to help. And what is happening? People going to that have the money to go take it on their kids on vacation. See, I'm going around in circles here. Wound up right back at that point. No, it saddens my heart. I am one of those people who feels a lot of empathy. And the thing that always comes to my mind when I see these people doing stuff like this and bragging about it and trying to tell everybody else you should do this is I see those little kids. I always see like 3 kids standing next to one another. Where I got that picture from, I don't know. I worked a lot with kids. I did substitute teaching and visiting teaching and stuff like that. Every grade, I think every single grade, all the way to seniors at university. not as at university. I was not a substitute or visiting, so I was not. I did that with my own degrees, my own worth. But anyway, I see that image of 3 kids looking starving, and they don't have enough money. Their parents don't have money to feed them. And that's the image that comes to my mind. And I think of these. I don't want to use the words. My brain pops into my brain about these people that go and use. They're the greedy. Greedy is a safe word. Their actions, they're so greedy. So they can take their kids on vacations. Man. You know, some of them, it's not vacation. There was one of them, she really let people know she got what she wanted out of it, and she had no more time for them. The audience that was sending her money. Yeah. She played a good game on them, and she let them know. Really did. She let them know. She got what she wanted out of it. Yep. And can you guess what that is? It was not a vacation. No, it was something she didn't need. But you could say it was probably as much as the other ones paid for their vacations. Over that amount. It was a big ticket item. Big ticket item. Didn't need it, just wanted it. So used the food banks and used the audience, and then waved her hand at them and goodbye. You all fell for it. That was her attitude. Anyway, boy, I went around in a circle. I'm going to go in. I think this is enough for this. And I really am. If you see changes on my channel, I'm trying to make all of them private. You know, just to put to where they're not public, I should say. Yeah, I had enough of I'm going to be making changes on certain videos. And maybe I'll open them back up public. I don't know. I don't know. Really don't. We'll see.